conversations via the miracle of Skype. It's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Yeah, Viva Las Vegas. That's right. They're racing at the mile and a halfer in Las Vegas today. Hello there, everyone. Todd Bailing at the site of last week's race, Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, one of which has been partying all night because the Oostburg High School girls team won the Division III state championship yesterday. Woohoo! Congratulations, Brian Schmidt. Quite a big day for your daughter and for Oostburg in general.
Yes, it was. Yeah, pretty exciting. One of those things you never think is actually going to happen, and when it happens, you're like, wow, it's an amazing thing to see, and congratulations to them. And I get to wake up this morning and see it's snowing here, so you always got to balance life out.
Wait a minute. All week long, all I've been hearing, it's warmer in Wisconsin than it is in Arizona. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, I got that off my chest. It's not just PJ today. She has the lovely Mr. with him, PJ and Toby, out in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Hello.
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 There he is. And, of course, Dan Margetta in St. Francis, Wisconsin, our producer, director, and our longest tenured person after myself. Hi, Dan.
Hey, good morning. Now, it was warmer than here than in Arizona the other day, and then we got something else you don't got in Arizona right now on this side of the state. We got some snow.
It's snowing again?
It is.
Well, I think St. Patrick's Day, I always thought of it as when you get to St. Patrick's Day, it's supposed to be green. So isn't everything getting green yet? The lawns?
Oh, no, we're far from that. When the snow leaves, everything will be brown.
Oh, boy. Well, that'll be a lot more like Arizona then, because everything's tan here. The Las Vegas race, do you realize this is the 35th Las Vegas race already? I mean, it's just crazy. It's a newer race on the schedule. By the way, I'll talk a little more later in the program, but I got to spend a little time with the winner of the first ever race in Las Vegas this week. I was lucky enough to have been invited to a dinner party that Mark and Arlene Martin and their son Matt were at, and it was a very low-key event, and got to just kind of reminisce a little bit about the good old days and at Jerry Gunderman Racing, where, of course, Mark won an ASA championship, and Scott Hansen was there, and many, many wins from Scott, and it was great just to be a part of that and listen to those conversations. Great stuff. We are going to see Michael McDowell on the pole today in the 71 car, the first ever pole for Spire Motorsports. All that money that they've been spending is now paying off. 186.961 miles per hour. 28.89 was his lap to go around that mile and a halfer. The race will be televised on FS1. If you don't have cable or satellite, you may be SOL. The green flag, relatively late start, 2:43 Central Time, of course, because they are on the Pacific time zone out here, and that's why it's going to be a late start. So the question is, will Seabell keep it going after winning last week at Phoenix? My God, when you're hot, and Bell is as hot as they get. But I'm hearing that there was a problem and that he's starting in the back. Well, that's what you do with guys that have won 3 in a row. You figure out some reason to start in the back, right?
Yeah, they had an unapproved adjustment or something like that. They switched something with the throttle. I'll have to look and see exactly what it was. But they'll have to start in the back. Maybe difficult here. I didn't see how in practice. I don't think he stood out like as a great long range car. But it's hard to, break that momentum of 3 in a row. Although it seems like that's where it seems to get. You won 3 races in a row. That 4th one's always tough to get. It's been a long time. I think it's only 2007 since somebody's done it.
Was it Jimmy Johnson? Did I see that? I think I did. And so, yeah, not an easy thing to do. Bell, you always wondered, was he going to break the door down one of these days and just become the superstar that so many people thought he would be right from the get-go? He's been in the Final Four a couple of times, and he wins races, but all of a sudden, he is the guy to beat. You know that great rivalry between Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson? Well, the score this year, folks, is 3-0, and we have to see. This is one of the better tracks for Kyle Larson too, right, Brian? If he's going to win, this is one of the tracks that he's good at.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I believe he won this race last year. So, yeah, and he's gets to start to the front a little closer than Bell is, but it's still going to be a battle. And it's amazing what Bell's been able to do that on that many different types of racetracks as the season goes along is probably what's the most remarkable part about it. These guys that usually go on runs, a lot of times it's the same type of tracks. That's not the case with Seabell. A drafting track, a road course, and then Phoenix. Now you're going to 1.5 miles, which is one of the things he excels at. If you remember last year's race that Joey Logano won to punch his ticket to the Final Four, Bell had the best car that day, and Bell should have won that race. So one would expect him to be really good today as well.
The guys in the practice, during the Fox booth during the practice coverage, they were starting to compare Bell and Larson to Petty and Pearson, and I was thinking, it's getting there, as far as a rivalry and that.
That's interesting. You would like to see that. I'm not sure we have anybody racing right now that are really on that level, but these cars are a little bit different than they were back in those days. I wonder how the old timers would have handled this kind of thing, and what they would have thought if they had to sit at a simulator and figure out how to race at tracks without feeling it until you get in the race car. Well, that's a story and a subject for another day. As we mentioned, of course, last week, Christopher Bell winning here. The big story last week was the fact that NASCAR wanted to, take a look and see what they could do to spice up the show on a 1 mile, relatively flat track, which can be stinky shows if you're not careful. And it's their championship race, and they want to make sure in the fall when they come here for that big event and so many eyes are on it that they have a good show. Well, you can't really complain. I mean, they had some, close finishes. Those were NASCAR manufactured finishes when you have cautions late in the race and everybody in the place knows it's coming. How's it going to be there? Oh, that's enough. Let's do it right there. And as advertised, it was a pretty good finish last week. But the story are the red and yellow tires. And it's pretty cool that Toby is joining us today because, for one, he's finally going to answer my message that I asked him on Sunday night or Monday morning, which is, what the hell's going on with the red and yellow tires? Now, this is something we're going to have to talk about. We're not going to start yet. But as you saw, the red tires were much softer than the yellow tires. Short run, long run is an easy way to say it. One was harder, one was softer. Those long run tires, that 312 laps on a 1 mile track, it can be kind of boring at times. They had long cautions. Oh, yeah, by the way, why were your cautions so long, NASCAR? Well, since we had those red tires, they chunked off more pieces and it was harder to clean up. So we have that. I guess my question would be if what we're really looking for is a better race, why wouldn't we just have the red tires for the whole race? So what if you can't do it and have it all the way, the shorter runs. What's the point? I think that's what we want, right? Shorter runs, more excitement. We'll talk all about that strategy with with Toby, who doesn't join us very often. This is pretty cool. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the game at Dugout 54, 54th and Blue Mound. Zabe and Butch get things rolling at 6 a.m. The first 97 in the door get a free T-shirt, 97-cent green beer, and $5 green pancakes. St. Patty's Day at Dugout 54 with Miller Lite and the station that leaves others green with envy. 97.3 The Game.
Welcome back to LTN. As we're getting ready for the Las Vegas race, it's been kind of cool up there. In fact, it's been downright crappy. Well, Friday night, it was really crappy for the truck race. It was damp and cold and windy, and there weren't very many people in the stands, and that's another story. All right, first of all, let me make sure. Hi, Toby. Welcome to the program. Nice of you to join us.
Glad to be here.
All right, there we go. Now, let's set the scene just a little bit. Last week, we knew that we had these two different kind of tires, and it was more of an experiment than anything else. Everybody started the race on yellow, long-run, harder tires. And on a restart, Joey Logano was starting from the pole and got the left side tires below the yellow line before they got to the stripe. A lot of people were bitching about, wow, they're so picky, whatever. The call was to put Logano do a drive-through, and he had to go to the back. Now, on a track of this configuration, the biggest thing you have to think about all day is track position, as far as I'm concerned. You can't get yourself to where you have to make up too much space. And so what Logano's team did was to put red tires on, the softer compound, to get him back up front, get his track position back. That's a really good idea. I thought, why not? We'll save that other set. You had two sets of red for the whole race. You'll save those other ones for later on. And when you're really going to need it at the end of the race, like everybody knows is coming. And yet, even though he got his track position back, they put on another set of reds. And I was very, very confused. What would be the point of using up all of your soft tires before the end of the race? I called Toby, left a message, and this is Toby's way of answering me. We saved it for on the air, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I could see why some of them guys did it, like Priest and them.
Why?
Well, I mean, at least the first set to get track position.
Right.
Some of them guys, I think, did it. They all got sponsors, and half them guys don't get talked about, right? Because they're always in the back. Well, you put the red tires on, now you're up front, now they all talk about you. Your sponsors get noticed, the camera's on you. I mean, I would say that's why they did it. I mean,
wow.
I mean, be honest, a lot of them guys really don't have a chance to win, right? But, and they don't get noticed or talked about, or you don't even see them. You don't even know they're in the race. They're just a car driving around there.
Although we have to say that since that character Priest got into that 60 car, he's been better. I thought we've seen more of him, but yeah, he ran up front last week, and I was thinking that exact same thing. Well, if nothing else, at least we're running up front and waving and going, "Look, Mom, I'm running up in the front," which is what you want. But you really sold your soul to the devil to do that, because at the end, and they showed on television, they had a nice graphic of all the cars that were on red. The top 20 cars were all on red, and we never saw Ryan Preece. So, just to get TV time, that's kind of an odd, thing.
It could be, too, that, RFK's got 3 cars. Well, maybe they did it earlier so they could, as a team, or a company could, okay, how long are they going to last? What setup? Maybe his car was set up to run on reds, right? To see how many laps they would last before they fell apart. And then the other 2 cars put them on at the end. Same with every other team out there, he was a sacrificial lamb, you know what I mean? Just, okay.
Might as well. All right, it's funny you should say that, Toby, because on my visit with Mark Martin, I asked him the same thing last week, and Mark's take on it was similar to yours. What it amounted to was everybody thought that the life of the red tire was going to be considerably shorter than what they actually ran. And so but the problem with that is, okay, it's running really good, so we're out front and everything's going great, and there's one little problem. Since they're softer, it's like being on a time bomb. And McDowell is the first one that I remember. He blew the right front and put him up in the wall. Now, how long are you going to keep this tire on before we've decided it's a little too long? So the fact that they were running a lot longer than what they'd given them any kind of idea that they would run before they got bad, that was kind of what that was about, which, it makes sense, Toby, what you said. Then they have one sacrificial lamb per team. Let's go out there and see how long these things go before you're in the wall. Maybe, I guess.
Remember that. Go ahead. No, the plan for this tire was to try that at this race, because the ultimate goal is to use that soft tire for everybody for the whole race at the championship race to kind of mix it up and make it a better race. I don't know if they think they accomplished that. I mean, did that tire perform good enough to do that, to run that as the tire for everybody for the race?
Boy, I think so. What do you think, Tob?
Well, again, and it's all about the setup. Some cars ran really good on that tire. Some guys blew tires. It's still all about, it's a race car. Some guys maybe, I heard they practiced on the reds too, right? Some of them?
Well, you had to see what you had. I don't know that. I didn't hear that. But
well, they've all, I guess I don't know. That I guess it was to see how long they'd last. And again, some cars last longer than others on the reds. Some guys, it didn't really make a lot of difference. I mean, Bell, he was almost as fast on the yellows, the whole race.
Yeah, and what a setup that was.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a race car. Everybody's setup's the same.
Yeah, or not. I would say.
I mean, not the same, but I mean, there's so many things you can change on those cars to make them run longer on softer tires. I'd say the guys that did it earlier, they're just testing for the championship. They could be just testing for the championship race.
Yeah. Interesting. There was a tire test Monday, by the way. I didn't go over there, but they did come away with some. Here's my guess. That red tire outperformed itself. Why wouldn't we just use the softer tires? It'll make for more pit stops, more strategy. It'll make for an all-in-all better race than what you get with harder tires on a flat 1 mile track. Now, that's just me. But I don't think I'm the only one that's got that opinion. A little longer cautions, I guess, to clean up if there's chunks of rubber laying all over the place. But that's neither here nor there. I think that it was pretty simple answer. Why aren't we just going to use those reds for the whole race? And it seems like that would be a way to fix a boring race, wouldn't you?
I'd agree. And it puts, to me, ball in the crew chief's court, or the team's court, who has the best car to make the best car on those tires,
Just figures. Just one of those things. We're very happy you're tuned in, and Toby Noodleman sitting in with us today. We'll be back right after these.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
The Brewers are in Arizona, and so is the game. The Mike Heller Show will be live from Phoenix daily.
Will you please control yourself?
Plus, Jeff Levering every Wednesday at 8 a.m.
What? No way!
The Mike Heller Show live from Brewers Spring Training is presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest, and in part by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Opening day will be here soon. Milwaukee's home for the most Brewers stuff is 97.3 The Game.
Hello there. I mentioned briefly that I had dinner at Jerry and Sherry Gunderman's place, who don't live very far from us. Out here in Phoenix, and at least for the winter they do. And it was kind of a reunion thing. Mark Martin spends winters in California and was heading back to Arkansas and stopped to see Jerry, and they had a dinner. Scott Hansen was in town. He was invited. Marge and I were there, and it was pretty awesome to be invited over there. Some of the things, first of all, it was a very casual atmosphere, and we didn't, there was nothing really groundbreaking that came out of it. It was a couple of old friends that hadn't seen each other in a while, and it was good to have such a nice reunion. Mark and Jerry hadn't talked in some time, and they did win an ASA championship together and all that sort of thing. I was a little surprised that I didn't expect to see Matt there. Matt Martin, Mark's and Arlene's son, who at one time I think they had designs on being a race car driver, and that just never panned out. And Matt has had different jobs in and around racing, but never was as a driver. For a while, he was a pit crew coach at Hendrick Motorsports, what I thought that was a pretty cool job. But these days, he runs Mark Martin souvenir sales. He's a historian. Matt's literary advisor. They're writing a book with the name of the author is, and I'm sure I'm going to screw his name up, Bones Boussier. If you'll remember that name, he was the editor-in-chief of the Speedway Scene, which was out of Massachusetts. It's the paper that Jack Flowers used to write for. And he's a great writer. He had written a story about Gary Hotshoe Ballou, a book about him, and they decided and they contacted this Bones character to see if he will write the story of Mark Martin's career. And as you know, it's had its ups and downs, and it's going to be a spectacular story. Well, anyway, that's what Matt does. He kind of is the go-between there and all that. But it was really nice to meet him. Very nice gentleman. I would call him a young guy or a kid, but he's 33 years old, so he's not exactly a kid anymore. But nice to meet him, too. Either way, a couple of things that we talked about. One was Catherine Legg. She just got run over the coals for her the way she raced last week at Phoenix. And if you'll notice, they asked different drivers about this, and most of the drivers came back with the same thing. She screwed up, but was it really her fault? Why did NASCAR let Catherine Legg race when she had no experience in this next-gen car whatsoever? There's hardly any practice. They had one little practice session, and now they're going to put her in the race. Yes, she was the slowest car. Yes, she was at the back all by herself. And yes, it didn't take long for the field to get away from her, and she spun out anyway. But nobody blames her. Everybody said the same thing. NASCAR needs to have a better system for letting drivers come into the sport. And my question would be, what the hell is the difference with Mike Wallace, who they wouldn't let race at Daytona? Figure that one out.
It's because NASCAR is consistently inconsistent again.
Yeah, it's sure. That's a good.
I don't know if you saw Kyle Busch's comments this week that he would kind of want, when they have that decision to let somebody in, he kind of wants the current driver to have some input on that. Currently, that nobody does. That's currently in the seat. That has some former drivers will have opinions on it, but he was, somebody that's actually driven this car should have some say in it too.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Either way, even though Catherine Legg had a forgettable race last week, it wasn't exactly her problem that they talked. The other thing that Mark and I discussed briefly was Carson Hocevar. I asked Mark straight out, what do you think of Carson Hocevar? And I told him my kind of analogy was a young Kurt Busch. It reminded me a lot of Kurt Busch and all the same things he used to say. And Mark actually came up with a better name than that, Ernie Irvan. Remember Swervin' Irvan, how crazy he was and how he had to stand up and apologize to everybody at a driver's meeting because he was just racing out of his ass. He couldn't get out of his own way and running into people. And still everybody could see the talent. It's very, very similar to Carson Hocevar. And Mark's comment to me was they really, really need Carson Hocevar in NASCAR. And I believe that. Not everybody wears the white hat. This guy, once he gets it under control, he's going to be scary good, and that's something else to look forward to. Oh, by the way, Mark has a couple of cars in his museum, which is attached to Mark Martin Ford, Batesville, Arkansas, for which Mark doesn't have anything to do with anymore other than his museum. He's got a couple of cars there. The first win Mark ever had was in, if you'll remember, the all-blue Stroh's Light Thunderbird at Rockingham. That same car was stickered up with Folgers, and he won when it was a Folgers car, and then it had Valvoline put over that, and he won with that. That car is in his museum, And he also has a car that Hendrick gave him. His last 2 wins were at Loudon and Phoenix, the Kellogg's car. And Mr. Hendrick just gave it to him and said, yeah, no problem. You know, what is that, Rick Hendrick? But the museum itself, it was in hurting for some things, and he had stopped at Jerry Gunderman's house to get a couple things for the museum. There was a Mark Martin racing jacket, and Jerry had his 86 ASA championship trophy. Mark said he didn't have any trophies in his museum, so he's got the one now, and it says 1986 ASA champion, which is a pretty cool thing. But outstanding seeing Mark once again after all these years. We'll be back.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358. Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines. Just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
You now can register for free entry to the 2025 NFL Draft by downloading the NFL One Pass app or online at NFL.com/draft access. You must register to gain access to the draft and NFL festivities around Lambeau Field. For more information on the 2025 NFL Draft experience, including a full list of interactive activities, on-site registration options, and exclusive digital content, download the NFL One Pass app or register via the website at NFL.com/draft access.
Don't forget the LTN podcast is available on iHeart, iTunes, all major platforms. That way, in case there's a little hiccup and you miss 5 minutes, well, you'll be able to hear the whole program. And don't forget Racing Nuggets, PJ's outstanding program, which can be seen on YouTube. This week's show was really good there, PJ. Give everyone a little bit of a mention.
It was Dave Kallman from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I said Wisconsin Journal-Sentinel when we did the show, but it is the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Yeah, he was a great guest on there.
He didn't correct you, so I think, well, why would you say anything different? I don't know if anybody got a chance to see Carl Edwards this week. He was on the Dale Jr. download. He's a very honest guy. And he's a kind of a likable character, I have to say. I don't know about how many guys are in the Hall of Fame that never won a championship or a Daytona 500 or anything. Is he in there just because he was such a great personality? Maybe. But, the question that Dale brought up to Carl Edwards had to do with why you just quit after, working so hard to get your career to the very, very top of the sport. Why did you just quit? And, you know, we had talked about it on this program, what we thought the problem was. And I guess it was pretty obvious, really, that he was really just done with NASCAR's BS, and that it cost him that championship when they came up with that phantom caution like they like to do and make a championship race come down to the last turn of the last lap for the maximum excitement. The problem was a guy that really had a chance at winning his first championship and being the man, and it got snatched away from him because of a lame ass decision that was made by the higher ups of NASCAR, and he just had enough and said, you know what, I'm good. I don't need this BS anymore, and I'm out. Dan, we weren't really surprised to hear any of that, were we?
Not really. I mean, I was at those two races. I go back even to 2011 when he was going to win his first championship, and he did everything right. He did nothing wrong in that, and he still didn't win the championship because he tied with Tony Stewart. Stewart ran off 5 wins in the chase that year and beat him on a tiebreaker. And I remember – I'll never forget standing there in the Homestead Media Center and watching Carl in the doorway watching Tony Stewart's press conference, and that look on his face was just he couldn't believe he wasn't the winner because he did everything right. There was nothing you can say wrong about that he did, and he still didn't win. Then you go 5 years later, and in 2016 he's doing everything right again. He's going to win this race. There's 15 laps to go. He's going to win this championship. He's out front, and then this phantom caution comes out, and he's down to the last restart, and he gets wrecked by Joey Logano, hits the inside wall, comes back across the track, gets blasted by Martin Truex in a really bad wreck. And I think he thought the same thing. Like, I've done everything right all this time, and it's still been taken away from me now twice. I just can't do it anymore.
Well, and risk his life, too, you know.
Yeah, there's that. It's the total frustration just made him think, do I really need to do this? He does have a wife and a kid that he could spend more time with, and he mentioned that. But if you haven't seen the Dale Jr. download with him on it, now I didn't see the whole thing. I think all of us saw snippets of it, but that was what really came out of it. And then Kenny Wallace on his cup of coffee or coffee with Kenny or whatever the hell he calls it, he pretty much said the same thing, that it really was. Well, you got to see it, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Someone else on this earth has better luck in a casino than Dan Margetta, and his name is Denny Hamlin. Now, granted, when I would go to Vegas, Ed Kluka used to holler at me and say things like, "You can't win with scared money." All that means to me is you got to have so much money that you just keep dumping it in until you win, I guess. I was never that guy. I like to put a couple of $100 in and be happy and walk away. But what exactly did Hamlin start with, Dan? He told everybody, didn't he?
Oh yeah, because on the internet, people. First of all, he won $126,000 on one bonus on a Buffalo machine. I think it was at Resorts World. I'm not 100% sure of that, but it looks like just from what video, that's where it was. And somebody asked, well, how much did you put in beforehand to get that? And he said he started with $11,000 and he never got below $8,000, and he was playing $300 a spin.
But there's more.
Yeah, it looks like he won again last night. On Instagram, if you go to his account, there's another $85,000 win, playing $500 a spin. So luck is rolling off the track in Vegas.
You might be the one to pick today.
Yeah, well, there's a good reason for it. It just blows me away that there are people that can pull a handle with $500 plugged into it. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I got to make it the rest of my life on my mailman money, and I ain't doing no $500 a pull. Sorry. That ain't happening.
Some people like me get nervous when they put $100 on a blackjack bet. That happened a couple years ago. I had a 10, and the dealer had an 11, and the dealer had a 10 showing, and I had an 11, and it was we were betting $25 a hand because that's all it was up there, and it was every time you pushed, you doubled, and I pushed a couple hands. I was up to $100. I'm like, God, that's $100 up there, and my 11 against the dealer's 10. The guy I was with, who happens to be one of our sponsors, Mike Egan, says, you got to double down on that. Well, I'm not doubling down on that because it's against the 10. Well, after enough, goading and everything else, calling me all kinds of how scared I was, I did it. I ended up winning in the end. But even that was nervous for me. It was a $100 bet. And in the end, after it was all done, Mike looks at me and says, I'd have never done that.
He just knows he can talk you into it. So Hamlin is ahead $200,000 in the casino. At $500 a pull, I'll never know what that's like. But, either way, it's pretty impressive, you got to say. Got some results for you and some other things when we come back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Football fans, get ready for an unforgettable NFL draft experience in the Discover Green Bay 2025 Draft Sweepstakes.
The Green Bay Packers and hosts for the 2025 NFL Draft, Jordan Morgan.
One lucky winner and 3 guests will receive an exclusive VIP package. Find out more about the 2025 Draft in Green Bay and enter to win at greenbay.com/sweeps.
Now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Another relatively quiet week across dirt track racing as we still navigate the early spring area after speed weeks. They're supposed to open up the High Limit Sprint Car Series Thursday night in Las Vegas, but which seems to happen whenever NASCAR is in town, rain shows up. So that event rained out on Thursday night. They were going to try it again Friday night after the truck race, but because of the miserable conditions, as we discussed earlier, in Las Vegas, that one also rained out. So they ran their final event, their one and only event for the High Limit, and it was their season opener Saturday night. We'll get to that one shortly. Friday night in Vado, New Mexico, the Winter Meltdown for the USRA Modifieds. Rodney Sanders picked up the feature win. They raced in Attica, Ohio Friday night. 410 sprint cars, Cap Henry was your winner, and the UMP late models went to Rusty Schlenk. Paragon, Indiana, the No Way Out 40 for the non-wing sprint cars. Kyle Cummins was your feature winner. Down in Kennedale, Texas, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series ran the first of 2 nights there. Gio Scelzi was your winner. Bill Baylog had a solid 5th place finish as he continues a very strong start to his World of Outlaw sprint car season. Maryville, Tennessee, the Smoky Mountain Speedway, the World of Outlaw Late Model Series got back underway for their first race since Speed Weeks, $12,000 to win, and Bobby Pierce picked up the feature win. That was supposed to be a 2-day event, but bad weather yesterday rained that one out. Gets us to Saturday, the final night of the Winter Meltdown in Vado, New Mexico for the USRA Modifieds. Carlos Armada Jr. was your winner. Port Royal, Pennsylvania, the Short Track Super Series Big Block Modifieds. Dylan Stewart was your feature winner. Abbottstown, Pennsylvania, the Lincoln Speedway for the 410 Sprint Cars. Freddie Raymer was your winner. Kennedale, Texas, night number 2 for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Buddy Kofoid was your winner. And in Las Vegas, the High Limit season opener for the High Limit Sprint Car Series, Corey Day held off Kyle Larson to pick up the season opening win for the High Limits. Those guys head to California this coming weekend. I think might be even a midweek race, so check Flow for any High Limit racing. That is everything for this week.
You see the first lap of that sprint car race? So Ty Gibbs had his sprint car debut, and it didn't go so well.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Ty Gibbs should be running sprint cars. And then making your debut on a very fast half mile, that was a very wicked flip, and I would imagine Coach was probably a little scared about that one.
He made the show, though. I mean, that was a big deal right there.
Yeah, that is impressive. I believe there were 34 cars there. So, yeah, it's impressive to see him make the show. And he has been running a lot of laps. I've seen some video snippets of him in the Carolina area, making laps and trying to figure out those race cars. But, yeah, that's a scary way to get it underway.
All right. Sorry, got a lot of activity going on here on my end right now.
Sound like dogs.
Dogs, yes. So I got the results here. We can probably start with the NASCAR stuff. Justin Allgaier won the Xfinity race yesterday, since we haven't talked much about the other series. And then in the trucks, Corey Heim ended up pulling off the win in the trucks. Ty Majeski was fourth. And Luke Fenhouse had some issues with, I think, a loose wheel or something. He ended up finishing 23rd. Although they did show some good speed there in that Thor Sport truck as well. On Friday night as well, the Pro Late Model Baby Rattler 125 at South Alabama Speedway was run. Jake Finch was the winner of that slobber knocker. Stephen Nasse was second, Michael Hine fifth. Casey Roderick was up front. There's just always a scuffle racing in the South. He ended up 14th. Kendrick Cryer was down there. He was 16th, and Steve Dorr was 20th. On Saturday, the Spears Cars Tour West at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Pro Late Models, Jace Hale was the winner, and then in the limited Pro Late Models, it was Dylan Zampa. The 49th UARA Rattler at the South Alabama Speedway was supposed to be yesterday, but they ended up postponing it due to severe weather in the area. There's just a lot of nasty storms rolling through the southwest or southeast last night. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it's going to be today. Starting lineup, Michael Atwell was the fast qualifier for that, so he'll be on the pole. Outside of him, Stephen Nasse, which is interesting because Nasse very rarely qualifies well, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for him. Gabe Summers is there too. He qualified third. Jake Finch, the Pro Late Model winner, was fourth, and Michael Hine fifth in qualifying. Also down there representing the Midwest, Austin Nason. He qualified 9th. Justin Mondyke 10th. Steve Dorr will roll off 12th. Bubba Pollard starting 15th. Casey Roderick 16th. And Kendrick Cryer will roll off 18th today in that race. You can watch it on Racing America.
Thanks for putting that in. I was just going to ask. I wonder if we'll be able to watch it.
And for those asking, because I saw somebody ask, Tobe didn't go down with Justin Mondyke, partially due to the fact that he is still taking care of his your blood clots.
Blood clots. Is that?
Yeah, the blood clots. The blood clots. So, yeah, he's not down there with Justin, but Toby, you are doing better. So there is that. He's just sitting here quiet with his eyes shut now.
I don't know if he wanted you to mention all this stuff that's probably covered under the HIPAA Act, but that's fine.
Well, most people do know what's going on. And he's fine. He just had some blood clots in his leg, and he's on the mend.
It's when they move that we got to be worried.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're working on helping them to get better under control, and that was a big part of the reason why he did not go to the Rattler.
All right, that makes sense. They announced this week the announcer lineup for Amazon Prime. They're going to be doing the midsummer races, and I can't help but think that with Carl Edwards sticking his nose in a little bit and having some conversations with Dale Jr. that Dale might have talked him into this, but Adam Alexander is going to be the guy. We kind of knew that. Steve Letarte will be the high-voiced partner, and Dale Jr. will be another high-voiced partner, and Carl Edwards. So those four will all be up in the booth. And then they have in the pits, they'll have Trevor Bayne, Kim Kuhn, and Marty Snyder. So we know that that's coming in the middle of summer. I think, what is it, Dan, like 5 races in the middle of the year, possibly?
Yeah, and I think it starts right around 600. Is that right, Brian, the first one?
Yeah, I believe so. Computer just froze on me. I was going to tell you exactly when it was, but computers can be a real pain sometimes.
We're used to that. But this is a big experiment. You're going to have Amazon Prime. Many people have it, I understand, but if you don't, you're going to have to get it or you won't be able to see a handful of races in the middle of summer. So that's how that works. This ought to be good today.
Yes, it starts with the Coke 600. I can verify that. The Coke 600 all the way down into Pocono on June 22nd. So those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races will be on Prime.
Very good. Morgan Freeman gets to give the command today. And when Morgan Freeman tells you to start your damn engine, you better be sure you're going to do it. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
March. It comes in like a lion. And it ends with the return of the Brewers. Technically, that's not the expression, but that's what's happening. Then, somewhere in the middle, the least productive time in the history of the American workforce.
Are you talking about March Madness?
He hit a 40-footer to win it.
Yes, exactly.
Home stretch for the NBA regular season, too.
Don't miss a moment on 97.3 The Game.
The home of the Packers. At your fingertips on the free iHeartRadio app.
Make us a preset.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Xfinity race on the CW network yesterday that Justin Allgaier won. And by the way, Sam Mayer was fifth in that one. He's got a good car. He's going to be okay, I think, in the long term. They just got to take the last step. But the real reason I brought this up, Kyle Busch was in the booth, and I kind of had an idea that it was going to be interesting having him there, but my God, he is outstanding. There's another guy, if he ever wants to go into the booth. We know Logano's good. We know that Keselowski's pretty damn fantastic also, but Kyle Busch, that was good. If you missed it, they're going to have him in the future again, and you're going to want to see that. This week it came out that Montreal is going to get an Xfinity race next year. I assume it's that same road course they were on in Montreal in the past, right, Dan?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they would go. I think that's the only place you really can race in Montreal. Interesting thing about that is apparently the talks are going real well for next year on Xfinity and then maybe Cup racing in 27. I don't know if they officially announced they're going there yet. I think they just said that everything's going well. It looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, knowing our close personal relationship with Canada and hoping that the bridge isn't completely burned by then. The Cup Series is supposed to go there, according to this story that was written in a Montreal newspaper, in 2027. So just 2 short years from now, and they'll be racing the Cup Series up in Canada on a road course. I don't know that we need more road courses. I know we keep putting them up there, but, do we really want to keep them? They don't have an oval, so the answer there would be, if you want to race in Canada, and obviously NASCAR wants to, you can't go to Calgary and have a race there, okay? It's just a little too far.
They do. they do have ovals up there. I mean, we talked about that one. I think it's called like Chikari, which isn't too terribly far. Kind of between Toronto. Chicasa, that's it. Yeah, beautiful facility up there. But it's more about, as we've talked about many times with NASCAR, the big splash of being in the big city. That's what they're after.
Yeah.
More so than the venue.
Hard to argue with that, too. All right, so last week, our picks, I said, first of all, you're laughing already. I did say I was going to take Christopher Bell for the rest of the season, but I did take him last week, and he did win, and that was his third in a row, and it's looking pretty good. He's going to start at the back today. That has absolutely nothing at all to do why I'm not picking him today. He's going to lead at one point or the other. The question would be, will it be at the end or not? But, you know, we all know that Rowdy is going to win again. And I'm just thinking this is his home track. He's from, Henderson, Nevada. It's a suburb of Vegas. This is where he's going to win his next race, okay? And it's going to be today. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. Who's next? Let's go to Dan. What do you think?
Well, the last time somebody had a chance to win 4 races in a row, the last 2 times it's happened, the same guy has stopped the streak. And he's got 3 top 10 finishes already to start this year, and he's got 3 of the 5 races at Vegas. He runs really good here. He's 25-1. Alex Bowman.
Oh, really? There's a guy who needs a win to keep his employment, I think, for the long term. We'll save the Noodleman family for the end. Brian, who do you think?
Oh, I said it before. He's on a complete heater right now in the casinos, so I'm guessing he's probably going to keep that luck rolling. And it's been a while since I picked Denny Hamlin, and last year it seemed like every time I picked him, he did well. So I'm going with him again, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, it's quite a week for him. All right, well, I'm sure that the Noodleman family is going to pick the same driver because, everything they do is coordinated. And
that is not factual, Todd. Actually, I already wrote mine down before you said yours. I had Kyle Busch for today as well. He'll be rolling off 4th, and I think it is his day to get it done. Tobe, who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with Christopher Bell.
Ooh, when you're hot, you're hot. What, Dan, exactly what did he do to get put in the back?
They changed out a throttle body.
A throttle body? That's enough to get you put in the back? Because after qualifying he did this and they're not supposed to touch the cars or what?
You can move a sticker on a car and you get put to the back, remember? So, yeah.
All right. Interesting. Will that make a difference? Nobody picked Caution Hocevar today, huh? Did you catch that? I threw out a new nickname. Well, then nobody either liked it or caught it, one or the other. It's all good. The Vegas race has been very entertaining over the years. It's kind of rare that not one of the 5 of us really are at this track. It seems like, Dan, you go every year.
Why didn't you go?
I had tickets. I actually sold them because I just did Daytona and everything kind of comes up in a quick amount of time. I plan on going back in October. I mean, it's a good race to go to. It's actually a fun time.
We haven't been to that track forever. Tobe and I used to go for a while too.
Well, one of these years we'll just have to have a little reunion out there. It seems like a good thing to do. Hey, happy birthday to Brad Miller today, noted race car driver. Oh, by the way, PJ must have posted an old interview with Bradley. It's up on the Racing Nuggets right now, and it's pretty entertaining if you haven't seen it before. Hey, thanks to everybody for tuning in today. We're certainly happy that you did and that you continue to do so with us here on Fox Sports 920. FS1 today, green flag 243. It's a late start. And as we like to remind people, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losi, and for all of us involved with the program, we consider it an honor that you tune in, and we'll talk to you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.